a bit of a different episode today. We've got my friend Paul coming down to have a quick chat about a few of his kits that he's purchased over the few days. Now, Paul's starting a little page which is going to grow into a big page, I feel, about football kits, and we all spend a lot of time online buying football kits, and I think the Australian scene is growing, and it's good to have Paul here today showing off some of the kits that, you know, I would love to purchase off him, but I'm not going to purchase off him. So I said to him, mate, let's just get you in today and talk about the kits you have. And yeah, so I want to introduce Pitchside FC right next to me now, and everyone welcome Paul. These kits here are immaculate in every way possible, so let's just get into it. Paul, how did we meet?
Man, we met, how many years? Probably 10 years ago.
At RMIT uni.
RMIT, yeah.
And I think the best thing that bonded us was football. I think we were assigned a little assignment for a photography thing, and was it Ouija, that New York photographer?
Yeah, studying how to do history of photography on Ouija.
And I think we bonded over the one and only Thomas Rosicki. May he always be in our memories, even though he's retired. But yeah, Thomas Rosicki became a little bit of a cult figure for us.
Yeah, absolutely. The injury plagued sort of Arsenal hero, but he was just a magician with a ball. But yeah, it was a shame that he's...
And I think every time we caught up, Rosicki became a word for us. So I think when we talk about football, it just bonds people more than just the game.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. I think it's the biggest thing. Like, I think there's like a community that you sort of have something in common with someone.
For sure.
Through football, it's always something amazing.
And then recently we went to Japan together with our friend Chris, and I think it sort of showed that football is more than just a game. We did see Barca versus Chelsea and Yokohama versus Man City, but I think it's when we visited that store in, was it Tokyo, Shinjuku? No, where was it? It was closer to the city, yeah?
Yeah, Vintage Sports. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where it was.
It was towards Tokyo, towards the Shibuya crossing. Yeah. And was it Shibuya crossing or was it Shinjuku crossing? I can't remember. Oh no, we were staying in Shinjuku. I can't remember. But it was that moment we went into that store and we wanted to purchase as many kits as possible. But I think it was that moment that you sort of fell in love with kits.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was there and somewhere between walking down the road and going to that PSG store that was like the bit of a pop-up, I think.
Let's never talk about that PSG. So we came across this PSG store where we basically saw every PSG kit possible, every sort of dead stock and merch possible, and if it wasn't for our friend Chris who actually purchased an item from there, I think it was about 100 Australian dollars. But yeah, they had everything from, you know, the pre sort of buyer era to their modern day kits.
Yeah. Oh man, it was literally like kid in the candy store type of moment. It was
it's a Willy Wonka moment.
Yeah,
I think if we did purchase kits, we would have been kicked off that sort of face of the earth. But yeah, honestly, when it comes to football kits, Paul and I have, you know, had this relationship in the sense of a football friendship, and now with the kits, Paul is starting his own venture out there called Pitchside FC. Now, Pitchside was his sort of photo alias name that he wants to take on when he shoots alongside, you know, the football games. But I think now you've turned that into your name for the website.
Yeah, correct. So sort of like both subsidiaries of one another, and we sort of made PFC Vintage based on the Pitchside FC business name. So it's sort of, you know, they work in conjunction with one another. Obviously, being photographers and, you know, working in media, it makes it easy to sort of produce content for PFC Vintage. So that's sort of where this all started, or came through like a hobby, and, you know, like I said, falling in love with this sort of thing in Japan. We sort of touched on, like, you know, some loves we had during our childhood and stuff like that. So
for sure. And yeah, the kits are kits. I think when we grow up, we cherish a kit that we buy, whether it's a number 9 or a number 17, as I was always given, and I fell in love with that number until Nani started wearing it. But I think a couple of days ago, you're sort of working on a website. So hopefully when this episode comes out, the website is live and it'll be in the description or comments below. But Paul got a message from someone, and basically he wanted to start his own store but didn't have time. So can you explain how you came across these amazing, when I say kits, I mean these are some of the best kits I've come across in the past 2 years.
There's some absolute belters, yeah. So what happened was we started the page and we started getting things rolling.
On Instagram, yeah?
Yeah, on Instagram, yeah, correct. And things started going really well, but obviously, you know, it takes time. You have to do a lot of research to find out what kits are real, what kits are fake, what condition they're in, and a lot of the time you're buying online, which makes it a little bit hard to get good quality products.
100%.
So I got an Instagram message from a guy who wanted to do the similar thing, change jobs, and yeah, he wanted to offload what he'd bought. And obviously, with the likes of social media these days, you don't know whether you can trust everyone, but it was an opportunity. I was willing to meet up with him because he was in the same state. It was only sort of a short drive to go see him. So we went in, had a look, and yeah, he was happy to offload everything. So for me, it was a great way to start off a business.
It's always a good way to start off a business when you've got a handful amount of kits to sell. I know with the football industry, when it comes to kits, we have, you know, a couple of kits that we want to offload. But the fact that you got this amount of kits and this quality amount of kits, now I did take 5 off him, and I will show you this towards the end of the video. They're on my left here. But we've got a huge collection here. We've got 2 behind us. We've got the Barca kit and the Spain Adidas kit, which I would love to have purchased off you, mate. But I think we just go straight into it and talk about the kits that we've got.
Yeah, amazing. Let's do it.
And so when we went to this gentleman's house and found these kits, of course, with that episode about spotting fake kits and just looking at small details, I think it was the first thing we did. We actually had a code word that if we were to see this kit and we spot a fake, our code word was Thomas Rosicki, I'm pretty sure, or was it Baggio, I think?
Yeah, actually, no,
I think it was Baggio.
Yeah,
so I think when you do find kits at markets or anything in person, of course, use those sort of 5 tips. And again, looking back at the video, there was a few extra things I wish I had said. I think the best thing is just attention to detail. And yeah, a lot of these kits, you know, of course, with the kit I'm wearing, the Cantona kit, it is from a generation, you know, 20 years. So they're gonna have pulls and bits torn apart. But of course, when you look at a kit, you can spot it straight away.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that you said that really resonated with me was the fact that you can actually feel the quality of like the originals.
For sure.
In comparison to some of the replicas, and you're going to come across replicas regardless when you're collecting, and it's just you got to be able to recognize the difference. It's really important, and I think the feel is the biggest thing which you can notice between these and some replicas that we've come across in the past.
100%. So you want to start on the right or the left?
Start with the classic. Number 9, 04 Brazil, and of course the.
I'm surprised that even has Ronaldo in the back. It's just one of those things, and it's the correct type font too. It's something about the Total 90 kits. Is that part of the generation? It is, the massive circle. I think Australia and a few other teams. Was that during the Japan Korea World Cup?
That was 02.
02.
04 was Euros and Coppers, I think.
Yeah, but that's still one of my favourite kits.
Yeah.
It's good fit. What size is that? I think it's a large or a medium.
It's small.
Small, geez. So yeah, a lot of these kits will be, of course, available on Pitchside in the coming weeks when the website is available. And of course, a lot of these will sell. This is probably one of my favourite kits, and I did want to buy this off him. It is, what year is this? This is Pogba's time at Juventus. And honestly, about this kit, I think there's a photo of Jonah Hill wearing it on the street. I think Paul Kids shared it a couple of days ago. And yeah, it's just one of those kits that Adidas made for Juventus, and it's just one of the best kits. Is there anything that you think about it? I know you didn't look at it and think, wow, but the value of this is pretty high. Yeah,
look, it's obviously, yes, it's a really important kit. It's pretty iconic as well. Like being Juventus kits are always really popular, especially in Melbourne and I'm assuming most of Australia with the Italian immigration influence. But yeah, I just think, I don't know, I see it. It's a 2014-15. I've got stuff that's from like the 90s, mid 90s, early 90s, and I think they were same value, which kind of confuses me a little bit, but hey, it's still a really cool shirt.
And the funny thing is about this kit is I've got that in the last episode for the fake kits. The Man United same kit, the same generation, had the same double layer at the bottom and on the sleeves. And you can already feel the difference in this and how much the material it means, you know, spotting a fake. And this is an actual great kit. And just the feel of it on both sides is, you can tell straight away the quality of the kit. Yeah. Put that aside.
Sweet, so next up we've got a Lecce Asics. I think it's a training jersey because it's got the
sponsor?
The sponsor on the back. Amazing story with this one. So this was actually listed online by an old Uruguayan lady.
Oh, so this is not part of the collection, this is another one you found?
This was a separate purchase that we found when we were doing some research. Her son played for Lecce during the 90s, and then I'm assuming they must have migrated to Australia, which is how the shirt obviously came here, ended up in my hands, which is really cool. Yeah, great little shirt. Like, I love the old Asics from like the mid 90s. I'm not sure exactly what year it's from, but yeah, it's definitely a really cool.
Extra small too, so it's easily sold.
Yeah.
This one's a good one. This is a Lotto one. I actually remember I recently shot this for a Melbourne Knights with their coach who, what year is this? Do you have this on detail?
96.
So is that also Euros, or is that pre?
That would be 96, 98. Yeah.
But yeah, this is a Croatia jersey. I think this is one of the first times before they moved over to Nike. When they started making the...
One more, I think, was the one that we've got the Lotto symbol in the middle as well. So I think that was 98. So I think this one might be the jersey just before the '98 World Cup.
And of course, Croatia's known for the checkers kit, so that's a beautiful one in this
Amazing.
collection.
Reminds you of like players like Double Short.
That would definitely be sold within seconds for Australia. Now we've got a double Italia kits here. One's a Diodora and one's an Italy kit. I'll get you to hold the Nike one. So can you explain these two to us?
Yeah, amazing. So we've got '94 World Cup, obviously like iconic moment with Baggio missing the penalty against Brazil. And then you've got the '90. I think this shirt transitioned into the Nike one when they switched sponsors from Diodora. And then from '94, I think it was to '96, they used this shirt here. Which for me, the Italy generation of Nike was just iconic. All the training outfits, all the the match day.
Even Diodora with that the jacket they've got.
Yeah, actually, they've done everything so well. I think maybe it's just that Italian fashion sort of influence. I don't know. They always.
I do hope to see Puma do some stuff with that sort of project they've got, and I know you've got the Puma kit here at the floor, but I think the Diodora era and Nike era of the Italia kits were the best. You do have that Puma kit we just mentioned here, and it's the current third kit or second kit?
That's a good question. Actually, I'm not 100% sure on that.
But yeah, again, I see what Puma's trying to do and bring back that sort of elegance to the Italia jerseys, and I do hope to see better, quality in the future. But again, Italia kits are the best. Another international kit that I really love, and I think I got another one in my collection from this purchase you did, was the Netherlands kit. Again, Lotto making amazing kits, and something about the Netherlands kits that I love a lot is they always have the sort of flag on their collars, and they've got the detail with the lines across the whole kit. Is there anything about this kit that stood out for you when you purchased it, or is this just like typical orange?
Well, just like the '90s era of Dutch players was amazing. Like I know you had all the guys that were down at Milan for a while, and then obviously they would have had to don this shirt at some stage. It's very similar to that Croatia shirt, obviously very similar sort of make, similar feel as well, which is really cool. But yeah, definitely something iconic because the Dutch teams throughout like the 80s and 90s were obviously amazing.
And again, Lotto was one of the manufacturers that stood out in the 90s and early 2000s. And I do hope to see a resurgence or a comeback for them in the future. But again, Lotto always making the goods for football jerseys. All right, we've got a bit of a speed round here. We've got the one and only Timmy Cahill. I didn't realise that Everton had Lecoq at the time when he was there.
Yeah. So I think we actually got a few with this collection that came with Lecoq, but this one is obviously specifically iconic because it's got the Tim Cahill on the back. I don't know. I feel like every Australian kid that sort of grew up in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, even like late 2010s.
And this still has the Barclays on the side, the pre-current edition. And of course the numbering and the lettering on the back has all the detail. So probably far one of my favourite kits I think Everton has, apart from the current ones they're remaking. Yeah. I think they just moved sponsors as well, manufacturers, sorry. So we'll see what they're going to make in the future.
No offence to Angry Birds, but that needs to come off the jersey.
Yeah, 100%. Now we're going to jump over to the other side of Merseyside. Now I'm not sure which side's better. Look, if I had to choose, I would go to blue side. But again, I know a lot of you Liverpool supporters think you're ultimate football fans out there. But again, some of the kits, I'm not sure if this is the one they wore against. Well, you got a few here, but again, I'm not a Liverpool fan and I don't really care about Liverpool, but John Arnarise was probably one of my favourite players there.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, obviously, everyone sort of goes straight to Stevie G, but I love those left of centre players like John Arnarise, that you can sort of bring back and brings that nostalgia, that he had that absolute rocket left foot.
Oh man.
And it's sort of there. It's something that's cool to associate with some shirts like this.
And I think with Liverpool kits, you'll see, I'll let you to hold that one and bring this one here. With Liverpool kits, they always kept to the simple red and white. It's again, with 90s football kits, Reebok just dominated as well, apart from Lotto. And it's good to see Nike and Adidas sort of pushing that scene now. Yeah. But again, Lotto, Reebok, just made amazing kits. And I'm looking forward to see what Liverpool make in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, through the 90s, Reebok were incredible. Like, even just the little subtle details of them putting items through the shirt. I know here obviously is the Liverpool icon.
The bird.
The bird, yes, correct. But I know through some other shirts I've seen them put their own Reebok symbols and things like that, which is absolutely amazing.
And when we talk about manufacturers, one thing about Liverpool kits that we all stay iconic to is the Carlsberg on the shirt. Again, when you think about United, you think about Sharp. When you think about Liverpool, you think Carlsberg, and Yokohama with currently with Chelsea or whatever they're going to move to next season. Yeah. But again, I think one thing I do love about football kits is the sponsors, and Carlsberg is one of the favourite ones when it comes to Liverpool. And I do hope they get rid of whatever they have got. What's it? Is it Standard?
Standard Chartered or something like that.
Terrible. So go back to Carlsberg, guys.
So sweet. So next up we've got Barcelona 2011-2012. Pretty iconic, nice black kit, and obviously with Xavi on the back, it was one of their key elements to that successful side that they had. One of the really cool things, I don't know if maybe we can show a close up later. Inside the badge, I'm not going to speak Spanish because I'm probably going to murder it, but yeah, it's just some really cool details that they've put on the inside of these shirts that make them really nice.
think Nike did that a lot with their kits, even this current one we're going to talk about next, but I think the Socceroos and Matildas kits have never say die and just sort of little slogans. So it's always good to, when you're spotting kits and we want to, find a legitimate, authentic kit, there's always those little details inside the collars, the shoulders, or even on the badge. So that's a good way to spot out fake kits as well. Now we're going over to United, and he's got two amazing kits. Now this one's still in its plastic, so if you want it, you can take it out while I talk about this one. When we talk about United, we talk about Ronaldo as well, but there's something about this kit when they put the racing stripes in the back that I loved. Mate, the fact that you have one with Ronaldo on it is beautiful. So whoever gets this is in for an amazing treat. Now it is a size extra large, but I think anyone can pull this one off just because it's one of those kits you can wear with a hoodie, but also under a denim jacket. But again, AIG wasn't my favorite sponsor, but a beautiful kit. And
just
then
reminds me, like that free kick that he scored, was it Champions League, I think, maybe against Porto.
Oh man, he scored.
That knuckleball, but just the swerve, it's iconic. It just reminds me of this jersey, and that's 100%.
And then previously to the number 7 that we had at United, we had the one and only Bex. And I think from a Chelsea supporter, you guys would have hated him as well.
Yeah, look, it's hard. It's one of those things, it's hard not to hate someone that's that good. And especially someone as iconic as Beckham.
By the way, great choices on coat hangers today. So
size 8 kids.
It's not a size 8.
Possibly my wife.
It's a large. But honestly, again, another thing about Umbro is that they made an amazing United kits, and this is a great one. And I'm sure you're going to sell this within seconds.
The condition of this as well is impeccable. Like obviously you saw it was in plastic too, so it's almost untouched, which is great.
And the Vodafone, again, another amazing sponsor that United had. The detail with the Barclay still on the number, and of course the authentic lettering, a great choice to have a part of your collection. And of course this will be on Pitchside FC as well. So we've got maybe 5 or 6 more. There are 2 kits in here that I don't think Paul's going to sell, but I think the fact that he has these next couple of kits in his collection, plus the ones I purchased off him, just shows you that, some people are holding on to amazing kits, and the fact that you got this off the gentleman that we brought him off is just still bedazzles me. And I don't know why I use that word, but like the kit that we've got coming up and the name on the back, it's going to be worth a lot.
Yeah, look, I think it's one of those things, being like collecting football kits is one thing, and then trying to sell them is another. And being a football fan, it's so hard to part with some of these, especially when you come across something that's so rare.
100%.
It's something you want to hang on to forever.
And buying kits, again, if you're going to make a purchase and spend that extra $100 or so, of course, when I said with authentic kits, it's basically putting a value on a kit, but it's an investment. And I know a lot of people at the moment when they're buying kits, there's a lot of kits currently coming out, like the PSG kits, that in a couple of years still won't be as valuable because there's so many of them. But some of these kits you got in front of us now, I think the Real Madrid ones, and it's a bit of a teaser, but like you can't really find a lot of these. And of course, like the Cantona kit, I haven't found many that are available sort of on sale, or even there's a few United kits that you can't find. But yeah, these are great investment sort of choices.
Yeah, look, they're very hard to come by. So look, just to give you an example, like obviously this 99, 2000. To find these in white is a little bit common, but to find them in blue, like as the third kit, or actually I think it's the away. We've got a few. I'll give you that one. And then obviously we've got the black as well. To have all 3 from the same year was, for me, it's huge. Like I think this is great to have the whole set. So yeah, look, I think, and then definitely the quality of these kits, like you can feel, is amazing.
Teca, yeah, again, amazing.
Is Teca a coffee machine company?
I think so, but that is an amazing kit there, the black.
Yeah, the black is absolutely incredible. So
and they've been Adidas for a while now, so yeah, you can see that they've put a lot of dedication to their kits. Yeah. But again, with the Barca kits and the Real Madrid kits, there's so many fakes out there because they're one of the top teams. If anything, like you're going to find more fakes than authentic kits. And the fact that you have these with everything, there's not a single bit of damage to the internal bits. And of course, when you're looking for authentic kits, I told you with the last videos, like specific details, and you can just feel how strong these kits are made, and the stitching on them is just pure artistry. Yeah. And yeah, with that one, just look at the little emblem on top of the collar there.
Yeah, so they've got so much little detail that they've put into. Obviously, you've obviously always got your badges there, but to have little things like through the sleeves, even on the bottom of the shirts, the little badges that they put through there, it's absolutely nice to watch.
Cool, and we'll go. I'll say one more thing. Now, a lot of these are in a pretty large size, extra large to large. I'm not sure why pre-90s, a lot of people, 2000s, early 2000s, people were purchasing kits of that size.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe something to do with tucking it in. I know it was like, I know
It
Victoria
was.
had rules like that during like sort of the early 2000s. I don't know if that's a thing.
Yeah, and I
That
think
could
with the
work.
older, larger kits, yeah, it was that sort of, you'll see them on TV where they look pretty baggy,
Yeah.
and now you see a lot of people with slim fit. And I think with long sleeves and stuff, it's just less material made into a kit. So of course, if you're wearing these, you're gonna have to wear them with a hoodie or something under. But again, extra large to large fits anyone, and it's a perfect choice to even have it on your wall or framed. Now, Paul, this one here, I honestly do not know how you've got this guy's name, and the fact that it's in a large, again, anyone's gonna want this. Can we just show the name? Was he a number 5? I didn't even realize.
Yeah,
So wait, he was 10 for France, or was he for France?
Yeah, 10. I think he was 10 for France. I know he was 21 at Juventus at one point.
Oh, yeah.
And then, yeah, Real, he was number 5. It's funny. It's a cool jersey. I don't know. I associate. You know, we were saying before about finding those players like John Henry said that are like left of field. I kind of associate this kind of era with like something a bit different. Maybe like a Guti, like
Oh, yes.
random as absolute cracking player. But yes, like this obviously jersey is so cool, and that era was just amazing because full of Galacticos. You know, the squad was nuts. Yeah. So next we've got Juventus from I think it's about '96. Yeah, with Kappa, obviously amazing design. I think Kappa did some really good things throughout the '90s as well, which was something I think a little bit more iconic for football. Like you tend to associate these kids with players like Del Piero starting out his career, and maybe even like the Baggios and stuff like that as well. Which
Sure.
is, yeah, really really cool.
And of course, when you buy kits of a certain age, you know, pre-2000s, they're going to come with wear and tear. Whoever had this before didn't really care about it, so there's a bit of damage on it in a sense that you can still wear it. It's of course, when you're wearing something of that age, you're going to have to make sure you sort of, you know, respect that its age comes with, you know, tear. But yeah, Kappa kits, something about Kappa kits, there's so many out there. I think in the 2000s, Kappa's kind of made that bit tight fit we're talking about. Even that Melbourne Heart kit that I have, the pre-Melbourne City takeover, they just made kits that almost choke your neck.
Yeah,
it was like a
right.
turtleneck.
Yeah, an elastic sort of like compression wear type thing. But yeah, I think this gen is just amazing for the material. Obviously, it's a little bit worn and stuff, but yeah, it's definitely a kit to go to for the Juventus fan.
And I'm sure a lot of Melbourne sort of UFA fans out there would definitely wear this to the Moreland Zebras or whatever you call these days game. So yeah, great collection for that. Now I think there's a kit here that Paul does not want to sell. I've got 4 more kits, but we can talk about the Atletico ones first. I'll get you to hold that one. I'm pretty sure that's the one you want to keep.
Yeah, I can't see myself parting with this one. I think it fits me quite nicely. I tried it on the other day.
And are these sort of the same era? Because this one says a Studio 2000, so this is in the 2000s, this one I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm not 100% certain. I know obviously the Marbella sponsor hung around for a fairly long time. They're not the same year because one's Puma, one's Reebok.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is sort of what I was going to before when I was saying like Reebok. They just did so well through this era, like putting the patterns through the shirt, which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and this one's got small detail with the sort of the crest across the jersey here with Marbella sponsoring the Puma as well.
Yeah.
Again, something about their logo, I'm not sure if many know, but you have to check out the history behind their logo with the little bear on top of the corner there. But something about Atletico kits, again, it's just, you know, we all think about, you know, Real and Barcelona, but there's more teams in the Spanish league than those two. So, for example, I love Valencia kits, and I love, you know, looking at Valencia's sort of the squads they've had over time. But again, Atletico Madrid and their current kits they're making with Nike, again, it's going to be a statement. But looking at their past, they did some amazing things.
Yeah.
And looking at here, I'm pretty sure this is a 1960s sort of Copper Del. Yeah, they've got a few details, 1985. So it's probably like a,
I think it's like
a centenary.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a centenary jersey, but it's definitely got like a list of success and campeones where the years that they had some trophies.
So again, a lot of these kits and details will be in a spreadsheet. So I'll get Paul and I to make a little document that you all can specify and find these kits. Again, if they're not available on Pitchside, we'll have the dates and you can find them online yourselves. All right, so we've got 2 more kits left. Now this last one on the table is the one he wants to keep. But Umbro, tell me about this kit, man.
Yeah, so it was a 03 to 05 England shirt. So I'm assuming they would have wanted the Euros. It's really cool, reversible. So they obviously had, I'm going to try and reverse this.
I'm pretty sure United had the same sort of design with the gold kit and the reverse it to white, or was it gold? Oh, sorry, black.
I'm not, I think so. I know, look, it's amazing concept actually. Like I think it's great. It'd be cool if they had like a home and away, but I guess these are both white inside.
Yeah.
But I know, like obviously with the Umbro for the United one, it's obviously different colours. So that's really cool. Great idea by.
I don't understand why they would do it in a professional sense. Like if you had 2 kits, what are you meant to do? And just to try and fill it, I've never actually seen it. So it is literally just one material. It's not like a double-sided thing, so you can't actually pull the 2 kits apart in a sense. But yeah, again, an amazing intervention by Umbro.
Maybe not ideal for the sales department at that time because you're only going to sell one shirt as opposed to two.
Of course, but of course, if it's two home kits, again, I wouldn't want to wear a kit with the badge inside my chest. That would probably annoy me the whole time.
Might get a bit of a rash thing going on.
Yeah, 100%. But thankfully, it's not around the chest area. Sorry, on each side. We can all speak about those kits and the pain. Now, again, this kit, when you brought this up when we went to this gentleman's house, can you talk about why you want to keep this one? Should we show the back or should we just keep to the front?
Okay, so look, growing up, you sort of have an influence of relatives and family and friends, and having like a half Italian family makes this a little bit more special. And then when they sort of teach you, the things about football and what's important, who's a good player, and this guy always comes first in name. I think he's one of the only Italians. There's very few Italians that have won the Ballon d'Or, and he's one of them. So, and yeah, you can turn it around, and obviously it's going to be Roberto Baggio being at Inter as well. I did have a Brescia 2004 jersey.
That was towards his end, yeah.
And I was really reluctant to get rid of that one because it's obviously pretty special and a part of my personal collection. When this obviously popped up, I was a bit more willing to get rid of that one and hang on to this one.
It's something that everyone would love to have, a Baggio kit.
And I think even this squad was absolutely nuts. Like I'm pretty sure Ronaldo was there at the same time.
Yeah.
I think maybe even...
Was Vieri there?
Possibly.
Yeah, I think...
I don't know if they're still hanging around at that stage, but I think there was just so many good players in this squad that made it so easy.
And again, something about Inter kits, there's always, like I said, you can never go wrong with the Inter kit. You've always got the black and blue and something about just these kits as well, the Nike, when they took over with these kits, man, like it's a beautiful kit, and I'm really jealous that you've got this a part of your collection. But the Pirelli sponsor, again, one people will notice is that even back then, sponsorships are easily to just tear apart because something about, I'm not sure the exact name of the material, it's sort of similar to a vinyl, but the Pirelli sponsor of this generation and onwards, I remember getting as a kid and I used to tear apart. But the fact you've got this in great condition, a great choice. And of course, if you're trying to find a kit like this online, you are going to spend a lot of money. But of course, like Baggio, players like that, when they do come to a time in their lives when they no longer exist, like there are a lot of players out there at the moment that we're still so fortunate to have. But yeah, come 20, 40 years from now, it's kits like this that you're going to keep and be like, wow, because when you think about it, player kits, Pelé and Maradona has a lot more kits, but Pelé didn't really have those sort of game day kits because...
Yeah, it's a different generation. It was a few years earlier, obviously.
And of course, his generation, there's kits didn't sort of come to a way where they made money off them in a sense. And you almost get remakes now of like Neo Cosmos and the Brazil kits, but of course with Maradona you've got Napoli and stuff like that. Yeah. So Baggio, I think one of those, not a lot spoken of, but a beautiful footballer.
I think it sort of taps on like the whole, I think you spoke about this in one of your previous episodes where a name on the back of a shirt can increase or decrease
100% Beckham, Ronaldo.
Yeah, absolutely. And then obviously there's going to be ones that maybe tarnish their own name or, obviously football can be a controversial world, especially with the media. But I think more like going back to what you were saying about Pele, like they didn't put the name on the shirts back then.
No,
so
there wasn't.
The fact that it maybe might have been just a number 10, that in itself is already iconic, but if you can find something that Pele wore in that era, it's amazing. It's going to be worth a lot. And
the hardest thing with kits as well, with names and numbers on the back, a lot of them do get faked. So again, the fact that you've got a Baggio, and we probably have to make sure that it's the correct lettering on the back. So again, I don't think in that sort of generation they really cared about that sort of stuff, and it was more of a design element, a sort of authentic and aesthetic possibility that once we got to an era of late 2000s, we thought about that a lot more, because you see that we say like tournaments coming up with World Cups and Euros, there's a specific numbering and lettering, and there's a guideline rules to it now, so it's like you can spot it on TV, but again, numbers and names wasn't sort of around during Pelé. So again, Baggio number 10, iconic. So great choice, man. All right. Okay, so now these are the kits that I basically not stole, but I bought off him. But again, the amount of kits that Paul has and is going to have a part of his collection, of course, you've got other ones that you've purchased online, and having, with COVID, of course, a lot of delays in shipping. So when we purchased this in person, I said to him, mate, sorry, I've got to take a few off you. And again, I'm not a huge Villa fan, but I have purchased for a certain person. So hopefully, Jamie McLaren out there, I hope you do want this kit. But I'm sure Australia's got a lot of Villa fans, and something about Villa, it's almost like a cult team where there's like, it's a massive club, and not many people know the history behind the club, but they've done a lot of things and done a lot of bits in the sort of Premier League, but in a global spectrum. But again, yeah, the kits they had, and again, the one and only Reebok, detailed to kit, and there's no name on this one, but again, any Villa fan would love this. Do you know what year this one was?
95 to 97, I think, about there. But yeah, I think definitely there. Villa is a huge club, and then for them to be out of the Premier League, like recent history.
Hopefully they don't drop now.
So I think it's like clubs like them and Leeds that have such a rich history would be great to sort of get onto jerseys like that. I think they're all absolutely amazing.
Again, Reebok, attention to detail with this kit. One of my favourite Aston Villa players, Ablong Lahore. But again, I don't think this is his generation. He's probably still a young guy back then. Yeah. He is pretty old. I don't know if he's still playing now, but if he is, geez, that guy never ages. Great, amazing kit, that one. Again, I'm a huge Inter fan, and when we saw these next two kits, I was like, I have to have this. Perisic, Icardi, a few players wore this.
Yeah, 2015, 16.
Was it one of the first game day kits post Pirelli, like in between Pirelli? Because I know they got new Chinese investors who are changing the sponsors of next year, 2021.
I'm fairly certain since Pirelli took over the sponsorship, obviously it's been an iconic part of Inter's history. I think this was the first non-Pirelli shirt. So yeah, amazing top, and for something that's so recent to be so cool, they've done very well.
So thankful for this one, man. So another addition to my Inter kit, but again, with the few of the Inter kits over time, when they're trying to push away from the blue and the black, they've gone with the dragon on one side, they've gone with this, and even pre-Nike when they had a few other designs, we noticed that green and bluey color one. So yeah, Inter again is one of those clubs, they're just pushing to sort of stand out, and of course Italian fashion, so I'm glad to have this one part of my collection.
Definitely interested to see where they go with their new kit with the new sponsor.
Oh, we'll see next year, because I've heard a lot of rumours that Nike's pushing the boundaries, because of course you're wearing the third kit there of Chelsea. I would never buy it, but again, the detail in the collar, something about Nike and their third kits now, similar to that PSG kit that I had on my wall.
Barcelona as well, the one that this season.
The Inter third kit as well, yeah.
They've just done really well. Like the long collar is absolutely incredible.
Again, Nike, Total 90 kits, they all had a similar design element to them, where it was sort of the kit was tailored to go into the middle, but of course the iconic 90 on the collar was a good way to authenticate a Total 90 kit. A Vodafone sponsor, too many players even mentioned this.
It's just, for some reason for me, like you think of Ronaldo at United, and this is that first kit it comes. He's wearing the old Vapor 2s and the gold versions. He's flipping Rabonas and doing step overs through the Premier League.
Just getting hacked as well, just getting his feet to the ground. Did Ronaldo and Beckham ever play at the same time at United, or was that sort of an era that they probably just missed each other by a bit?
I'm not sure. I think Beckham's like...
Because Ronaldo did play with Giggs and Scholes, so he still played with a lot of the sort of 92 sort of kids.
Yeah, later on. I don't think they did. I think they might have just missed each other. I'm not 100% sure. Someone confirm in the comments maybe.
But again, a beautiful kit. And one thing you should do once you buy kits from a certain collection is wash them. Yes. Of course, my ones have smelled like flowers. But yeah, some of those kits, mate.
Some of these are fresh stock
and I think the best advice is if you are buying kits online, straight away wash them. Do not wear them. Honestly, you do not know the person or the germ that wore them before. I recently got a kit for Melbourne City from just Brunswick down the road, and they sent it over, and it smelled like mothballs. And I've never in my life smelled a football kit with mothballs. And of course, international viewers, mothballs, of course, just keeps the kit from, or the clothing from going moldy.
Yeah, so a lot of these older ones, it's sort of like a preservative, essentially.
You would find a lot of kits that smell like the people previously, but again, it's the material. And again, with this one, another Inter kit, man. A little bit of damage. You're gonna have to suspect sort of, wearing a kit.
Yeah, it's part and parcel of things this age. Like this is 91, 92. Like this is 27, 28 years old. This jersey is, it's definitely iconic of that.
Detail on the collar there.
Yeah, and then, it's funny how, you go to the early 90s and like we were saying before, those other brands like the Umbros, the Reeboks, the Kappas, they did things so well back then, and just, this is, even the colour variation, like if you compare it to say the Baggio one, the slight colour difference between, from back then to obviously something a little bit more recent. Something very cool.
Again, colour is of course over time, you kind of lose it. Yeah. But that's a great one to my collection. And then another one that I've always wanted. Just something about Netherlands kits. It's just so simple, the orange. And I think as an Australian citizen, we are sort of respectful to the Dutch system in Australian football. And there's been a lot of amazing Dutch sort of influence to our game. But I just something, again, simple Netherlands kit.
Yeah, basic kit, but like I think something really iconic. Obviously, being orange, it's almost like the one and only orange kit that you'll see at every World Cup, every Euro.
I'm pretty sure it's King's
12 months.
Day in Amsterdam when you get there, and the whole city's just orange. So I can just imagine how many people would love to wear this and be proud of it.
Yeah.
Again, with Dutch kits, we saw the Ajax release the other day, and something about the Eredivisie, which they make them beautiful kits.
They do it so
Being a PSV fan, there's so much history behind each team, each player that play. I wanted to mention it before in that last kit we spoke about. I think it was a Dutch thing, the Dutch kit, the Lotto.
Yeah.
There was one player who had the longest name. It was not Van Bronckhorst or Van
Wolfswinkel.
There's that guy, but there was another guy who had almost like something of something land. His name was almost like, because I think with the Dutch names, Van or like the extended name sort of represents where they're from, or sort of like a representation of the kingdom or sort of the region.
Cool.
But again, we're going to finish off with a Dutch theme, and that's why I just kept blabbering on about the Dutch. Was this the Ronaldo one? I'm not sure. I know Ronaldo, as in the original Ronaldo. We're not going to call him any other than that. But did you notice online, if you go on Google and write Ronaldo, Cristiano comes up. And the only way you can get Ronaldo, and I'm not going to say it, but it's using that word.
Base version.
It's unfortunate because that guy did a lot of things for football.
And I feel like during COVID, I think the appreciation for him, I think it skyrocketed because people obviously couldn't watch live football, so they were starting to watch a lot of things from, like, the past. So guys like Ronaldo, I don't think this was the exact jersey of what, I think he was there either a year before or a year after. Yeah. But still this era in, like, obviously Nike and PSV.
I'm pretty sure I have the red and white version I'll show in the video one. I'll get you to hold that.
Yeah, jump and grab it.
Same one, yeah, it is, literally. So, like I said in that previous, this is the same kit, just the home and away. So, unfortunately, we noticed that the tag had been ripped off, but I did authenticate this, and it is authentic. But looking at these kits together, even though it's similar era or similar sort of design, but it's just amazing that PSV stood away from their original red and white and went to the bit of purpley blue. Again, kind of just represents how amazing a kit can be, just changing the colours.
Was there a tie between Philips and PSV?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Philips owns PSV in a sense that it is sort of represented in the name. But again, Philips is going to be one of their major sponsors, even though recently they got purchased by another sort of investor. So even though I think they own more shares now than Philips, but Philips will still keep its name or sponsor. Cool. Again, if you're going to ruin it, if you just move the Philips, like Pirelli, it's going to be different to see, but over generations, you're going to see new investors.
Each shirt sort of becomes iconic with their own sponsor.
It's got the racing stripes on the collar, so it's something iconic again. And I love the detail they've got on the back of the back of the neck, and I think the other PSV kit has it as well, just saying PSV.
I know one thing we didn't really mention, like on many of the other shirts, is just like the tags that Nike did through the 90s were like just so cool. Yeah. Even like the smaller details, like things like, you know, the authenticity replica badge and stuff like that.
And it's something you do see that in a current Nike sort of kits.
Yeah, they've done really well, I think.
Yeah, you've got that one, the circly one.
Yeah, the round ones, and then obviously, I think, it's really, really cool.
And a few of the other kits we have on the back here, of course, is the Spanish kit that you've got on the side, and the Barca kit, as we mentioned at the start. A lot of these kits will be available on pitchside.com. Is there anything else about the website or anything we should know? Any other kits or anything else?
Yeah, look, if you're looking for anything in particular, please send us a message. We're not going to be able to have all our stock online at the one time, so you feel free if there's anything you want to actually buy or anything you've been searching for that you're having struggles finding, please send us a message and we'll try and help you out.
And there's a lot of Australian sort of websites at the moment selling online or in markets. And you have to make sure that you respect these guys because they're doing a lot of work to find these kits, and they spend a lot of time authenticating and making sure they're legitimate kits because there's no reason why they would sell fake kits. And if you are going to buy kits from overseas, and of course during this COVID period, there's a lot of delays. Being a Melbourne-based guy and Australian-based, your kits will come hopefully in a week's time.
You're usually looking for like 7 to 10 days for Australia Post, which is pretty normal.
100%, and of course, like as Paul said, these are his sort of collection as well. So there's going to be a lot of care to them. If there's anything that you want, specific kits, Paul will help you out. And of course, the website hopefully will go live by the middle of June or end of June.
Yeah, it shouldn't be very far away. We're assuming, about mid-June, I think at latest would be great.
Now, what's the one kit you probably want to get for yourself or online?
For myself, I think, look, PSG kits are really hard to come by, let alone ones with Ronaldinho on the back. I think that Thompson kit is something really cool for me.
Yeah, I know exactly which one.
But other than that, I don't know, I want to try and find something a little bit different, like maybe like an Andrea Pirlo, like Brescia shirt from the days when he played with like Baggio, I think maybe even Guardiola, something like that. Something cool, something really old and that's really hard to come by.
I would love a Fiorentina kit. And I would love, you know, just that purple, and I'm pretty sure Nintendo.
Yeah, Nintendo.
Or the 7-Up.
Super Mario.
The
Yeah,
Super Mario 7-Up.
All incredible.
And I'm currently sort of looking at Japanese kits, and I do see a lot of websites at the moment selling Japanese kits, like Colt kits and classic football shirts and TSPN. So I'd love to see if you one day in the future can get a hold of Japanese kits.
Yeah.
Maybe we have to do another Japan trip.
We might have to go back.
But there, yeah. So like we said, the website will be live in a couple of days. Is there anything else you'd like to say? Anything football-wise? Anything you want to tell your future sort of buyers?
Yeah, look, guys, just come and check out the website. Any feedback would be awesome. Obviously, you know, this has started just from a hobby of collecting shirts, and you know, now it's sort of I'm happy to spread the love and you know bring back that nostalgic feeling that you sort of get when you buy them. So if there's any feedback you've got or anything you sort of want to look for, please send us a message because it's going to be driven a lot by what you guys want and what we can provide. So yeah, please send us a message.
Awesome, bro. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
And guys, like as I said, please, thank you so much for watching all our videos. If there's anything you want in the future, just send them down in the comments below, and I'm happy to sort of fix your requests. Again, anything we miss, anything we say, again, ask away. We'll give you feedback to that. Future videos will be coming hopefully in a week's sort of time after each other. And again, thank you so much for subscribing. I just hit 100 subscribers the other day, and it's 900 away from 1,000. So I'm hoping to get to 1 million by the end of the week.
So guys, jump on
I don't think I'm going to hit 1 million, but hopefully one day we can at least reach 1,000. But as always, guys, I need to do this. I need a kit. I have to do this. As always, thank you so much for watching. And I don't want to rip this. I just jammed it. And I'll speak to you soon. See you guys.
See you guys.